Hey, how's it going? My name is Wes. Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson, we have another green fundamentals lesson. And in this lesson, we will take a look at part 8 of the fundamentals in Spanish. Now, before we dive into today's lesson, actually what I wanted to do is to give you a little compliment because this is lesson number 61 already of this entire course. And right before I hit record on my camera, I actually thought for a moment about all the different lessons that I had made. And I remember when I was first studying the basics of the Spanish language, I literally looked at hours upon hours of material online on YouTube, on courses that I bought, and so I know the amount of energy and dedication that it takes to even get to lesson 61, for example. So just as a little compliment in between, I just wanted to say you're doing amazing. I know how much energy and dedication it takes to learn a new language. Sometimes you might get a little demotivated or you might not understand things because learning a language just takes time and dedication. But don't worry, I'm here for you. I've made about 200 videos which go into depth about everything that we need to know in order to know all the fundamentals of the Spanish language so that we can start speaking close to fluently to other Spanish speakers. So today's lesson number 61, fundamentals, part 8. Let's get into it. All right, so the first word of today's lesson is the word with, which in Spanish is con.
Con. Con.
And then the next word is the word without, which in Spanish is sin.
Sin. Sin.
So with, con, and without, sin. Alright, so now that we know these two words, I actually want to dive a bit deeper into the word con, which was with, because we can actually use the stem of that word and turn it into another word, which is contigo, which means with you.
Contigo. Contigo.
Or we can also turn it into conmigo, with me.
Conmigo. Conmigo.
So con, with, contigo, with you, and conmigo, with me. Alright, let's move on to the next word, which is desde, which either means since or from.
Desde. Desde.
So for example, if you want to say, I live here since 2024.
Vivo aquí desde 2024. Vivo aquí desde el 2024.
So desde is since or from. Now we can also add hace next to desde. So desde hace.
Desde hace. Desde hace.
And this can also mean since or for, but more when we are talking about a amount of time. So for example, instead of saying I live here since 2024, you could also say something like I live here for 10 years, which refers more to a amount of time that you've been living somewhere. So in this case, instead of only using desde, we add hace next to it. Vivo aquí desde hace 10 años. I live here for 10 years or since 10 years.
Vivo aquí desde hace 10 años. Vivo aquí desde hace 10 años.
Alright, then the next word, or actually question, is hace cuánto. So again, we see this hace, but this time with cuánto next to it. So hace cuánto, which means for how long, or how long.
¿Hace cuánto? ¿Hace cuánto?
So for example, how long have you known Maria?
¿Hace cuánto tiempo que conoces a María? ¿Hace cuánto tiempo que conoces a María?
Hace cuánto, how long, or for how long. Un montón in Spanish means a lot.
Un montón. Un montón.
So for example, un montón de gente, a lot of people.
Un montón de gente. Un montón de gente.
The next word is listo or lista, which means ready. And you can actually use this word as a question. So you can ask someone, are you ready?
¿Listo? ¿Lista?
Or if someone asks you, are you ready? You can say listo, or you can also use it as an expression. So you can say listo or lista to say ready.
¿Listo? ¿Lista?
And when you want to say, for example, I am ready, you could say estoy listo.
Estoy listo. Estoy lista.
So listo or lista means ready. Alright, the next word is weird.
Raro. Raro.
So for example, it's very weird, isn't it?
Es muy raro, ¿no? Es muy raro, ¿no?
Then the next word is casi, which means almost or nearly.
Casi. Casi.
So in a sentence, I almost always go to the same restaurant.
Casi siempre voy al mismo restaurante. Casi siempre voy al mismo restaurante.
I almost always go to the same restaurant, or I nearly always go to the same restaurant. Casi. Then tomar, and I think we've already went over the verb tomar, which was to take. And I'm not sure if we have already discussed this, but if you say that you are going to tomar algo, or you ask someone to tomar algo, then you ask someone to grab a drink or to take something.
Tomar algo. Tomar algo.
And the verb tomar is usually used in the context of grabbing something, especially a drink. So tomar algo is to grab something or to grab a drink specifically. So for example, if you want to invite someone to have a drink, you could say, do you want to take something? Do you want to grab a drink?
¿Quieres tomar algo? ¿Quieres tomar algo?
Tomar algo, to grab something or to grab a drink. Alright, then the last 4 words of today's lesson. First one is every time.
Cada vez. Cada vez.
So every time I cook, I try something new.
Cada vez que cocino, pruebo algo nuevo. Cada vez que cocino, pruebo algo nuevo.
Then the next word, and I think again that we've already looked at this word before, is yo sé. Yo sé, which means I know.
Yo sé. Yo sé.
And that word sé comes from the verb saber, which is to know. So it's the conjugation in the I form, yo sé, I know. If you want to say I don't know, then you can simply add no in between yo and sé. So yo no sé, I don't know.
Yo no sé. Yo no sé.
Or if you want to say I know it, then you say yo lo sé. Yo lo sé, I know it.
Yo lo sé. Yo lo sé.
Or if we want to combine all of the words, we can also form yo no lo sé. Yo no lo sé, I don't know it.
Yo no lo sé. Yo no lo sé.
Yo no lo sé. So yo sé, yo no sé, yo lo sé, and yo no lo sé. Alright, let's move on to the last 2 words. The first one is
Recuerdo. Recuerdo.
So again, let's play a little bit with this word. So if you say
No recuerdo. No recuerdo.
it means I don't remember. And when you say lo recuerdo, you say I remember it.
Lo recuerdo. Lo recuerdo.
So it, I remember it. And then of course we can also combine the two. So no lo recuerdo, I don't remember it. Or literally, not it, I remember.
No lo recuerdo. No lo recuerdo.
Alright, and then the last word or sentence we will learn in today's Green Fundamentals lesson, which is
No te preocupes. No te preocupes.
which means something along the lines of don't worry. Alright, and that's actually the last word of today's lesson. As always, I hope you got something out of this. I hope you learned something new. And what I really think is important for you to know is that in these green lessons, we go over words and phrases that are very common in the Spanish language. So I highly recommend you to learn these words by heart so that you can make them your own and start using them when you're speaking in Spanish. Alright, that's it for this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, of course, I hope to see you in the next one. Adios.